Hello, good afternoon, and happy Friday. And I don't know where you are and how the weather is right now on your location, but here in Amsterdam is pure spring. I even got my first burning from a little bit of the lunch that I had at the sun. And I want to welcome you to this the Coaches Next Door episode, and where I bring a topic that is going around for a while, and is really something that sometimes I feel like we don't have enough courage to speak about. And I think that we are allowing more than we should about this topic. And at the same time, I think we are also, um, creating a lot of stress around this topic and bringing a lot on, um, you know, this adjustment. And I think that's the thing, is that we are not adjust. We are not, something feels like in a kind of a almost permanent way disaligned. And I think this is one of the points that brings a lot of disalignment to each one of us, but also to society. And I think that's one of the things that is bringing also to us a lot of difficulties to deal with living together, and reaching a different point in our society as well. So um, the question that I bring here, and you know how much I love questions, and the question that is going around is: are we truly growing as adults, or are we just pretending? Are we just pretending that yes, by age we should be already adults, but we are still going back to a lot of patterns and a lot of things that we were using and strategies that we were using as children, huh? So I bring this a lot when I do trainings in leadership, and I bring this a lot, the transaction analysis, because I think it's really, really a eye opener when people understand that we have different roles on when we are communicating, okay? And these roles will also trigger in the other person a different role. And this dynamic sometimes is so messed up that is almost like it's very difficult to really get in a communication that is progressing, okay? And we also maybe need to get the realization and the awareness and the reality that society is made to keep us in patterns of dependency, okay? And it creates also this idea of gratifications and external validations, okay? But adulthood, real adulthood, requires a very deep level of awareness, emotional regulation, embodiment. So we are looking for this um, difference between what society sometimes, as a structure, um, asks for us. So it's like you need to do what we are telling you to do. And from the other side, we go like, okay, but I'm an adult, so I will take my own responsibility, and I know how to regulate my emotions, and I know how I'm aware of what I'm doing, what you're doing. So it's a kind of a complex, disalignment, because it's from one way we are looking for um, getting that independency. As an adult, we are independent. Everything around us, the system, is telling us, you are independent until a certain point. Okay, so we tend to be in a world that resists maturity, and even sometimes calls that maturity being difficult or not following the rules, and it's a little bit it's a lot the opposite, not a little bit. Okay, I think the important thing here also that I want to address is this illusion of adulthood. Okay, we often also, again, because the system is saying to us, oh, when you are 18, you know, you can vote. When you are 18, you can drink. When you are 18, in most part of the countries, you can drive. And this gives the illusion that people, when they are 18, they are adults. Okay, because they can do things that are regulated as adulthood. But this is not the truth. Okay, this is not true, because the system, the human body at 18 is not still in adulthood. Okay, because um, they for instance, in the neuroscience tell us that when sorry, the allergies are kicking in. The neuroscience tell us that when we are, for instance, until the 25, we tend to operate much more our limbic system, the emotion, the reactive part of us. Okay, the part that is reacting to the external world. So we are not using, for instance, at the age of 18, the full capacity of our prefrontal cortex, because it's not totally formed yet. So at 18, what happens is that we are still not having the responsibility, the possibility of getting that responsibility of, resonating, impulse control, or even long-term thinking. It's not there. Biologically, it's not there. So, and here starts big time the conflict, okay, between, from one side, it's expected that you take big decisions upon your life when you are 18, like the university that you want to go, the work that you want to have, I don't know, in 5 years. With me, that happened. I went to, let's say, I could enter university when I was 16, 17. And I totally felt that this is too early. I don't know. I really don't know. So everything that I will be doing under this unknown is dangerous. And I remember that I talked with my parents and I said, I'm not ready. I'm really not ready to take a decision that looks like is going to shape the rest of my life. um, like choosing, a course, a university course that I will be doing. So I took one year, and I went to get some classes on the arts university. You know what I mean? So I was not a student there, but I had some friends there. So, and the teacher was super nice. So they allowed me to go to some classes and to learn some things and to be there. So I did that, and it was so incredibly rewarding and nice, because I not only I got a totally different, spectrum of what I personally was going to do, but at the same time, I got also a different type of experience, as in that environment was artists and was a little bit crazy, and I really know that that helped me a lot to see the world in a different way. But what I want to say with this is that we are making our young adults, let's call it like this, because again, they are biologically, they are not adults, but legally, for instance, they are already adults. We are asking them to take decisions that biologically, mentally, they are, by the system, they are not ready to take. And this makes that along the way we get lost, because guess what, we don't have the time to stop, and we continue getting the habit of replying from our limbic, and we are always in reaction to the external world. So in NLP, neuro linguistic programming, we call this running old patterns. Okay, like we continue doing what always served us. We are not pushed by society, by the structure of our society. We are not pushed to take different patterns when, for instance, we reach the age of 25. That's when we get our prefrontal cortex fully complete. But most part of us, me, I'm going to use my example, with 25, I was already teaching other people. Um, yeah, so I'm not saying that I was doing it badly, but I was for sure not doing it with full, you know, capacity. I was not doing it on full capacity. I was still very, replying to what was happening. I had 32 teenagers inside of a classroom, and I think I was already, you know, some way able to maintain them, but some days were like, what can I do? Because I was not regulating myself. Okay, so I was not coming to them as an example most part of the times because I didn't have that capacity. And when I reached the point of 25, and okay, now I was really pushed. I was pushed by my parents that they had a different approach to the world. I was pushed by the people that I had around me, because also I had all older people around me that were like asking me, let's say, the right questions and the questions that provoked me. So I think the question that we need to ask ourselves, and doesn't matter what age are you right now, but the question is, do you feel like you are in control of your emotions and decisions? Or do you still feel that some of these things happen to you? You know, So that's one of the questions that we can put here to continue this episode, and to really get this awareness and this sensation that if we are really in our most adult mode, okay. So that's the idea that I want to bring to you, is that we need to ask ourselves if we are really in our most adult, frame. So let's continue. And as you know, if you have any questions, you can put it on the chat. I'm here, and I will reply to them as soon as I can inside of this conversation. So the I think the main, also one of the things that we need to get a little bit on the question side is how society keeps us, stuck. How society, how the structure. I like to think more like how the structure that we have in this society keeps us stuck. And I think a lot comes from this instantaneous gratification culture. Okay, so you want it, you get it. Like you, Netflix, fast food, social media is this dopamine hits. Like you want it, you get it, and it's fast, and is almost like driven by desire. Okay, um, it's not is we don't need to do things to get it, not big things. Okay, because it's not like you need to have any type of big effort to get that. Sometimes it's even easier, for instance, to ask for fast food than cooking at home yourself. So it's even easier. So this desire driven thing, I have a desire, and is there. And this doesn't provoke any deep decision, and worst even doesn't create the idea of this has a consequence because it's so fast. Okay, for instance, most part of the times people don't get any awareness or idea what does to them the movies that they see, what does to them the programs that come on Netflix as an advice. Like, because you saw this, you can also see this. This is brainwashing, because suddenly you think that you are deciding, but you're not, because you are just triggered by, oh, this movie is number one in your country right now. You get curious. Okay, why everyone is liking this movie? You know, or because you saw this, oh, this is also a program that maybe you will like. Who said so? Who said so? Maybe I want to see something totally different. But most part of the times we will follow that because it's easy. Okay, we don't need to think about, okay, but do I really want to see this again, or do I want to see something different, or what is this provoking to me? We are not doing that most part of the time. And then another thing that I think is really, oh, I get so triggered by that, is the blaming culture. Okay, the is always someone else. It's always someone else's fault. Um, or if it's not, I'm sorry, but I know that I'm going to trigger some people here. Oh, it's my parents' fault. They did this to me. Or is the society fault? Um, or is, my boss' fault? And I go like, okay, but you are already in a point of your life that you can take decisions. You can decide who impacts you, who stays in a frame of impact, who are the people that are going to listen to, what are the messages that you are going to believe. You are not anymore a child that cannot discern that. Okay, you are an adult that can take a decision if I'm going to believe that, or if I'm going to hear it, or if I'm going to keep it. Okay, and then another, of course, together with this comes the very low, emotional education. First is not in the curriculum, in most part of the curriculums, but it's also not in life curriculum. We don't have a lot of possibilities, without, of course, taking that decision of doing a training, or doing a work with a coach or a therapist or whatever you prefer. um, we don't have a lot of opportunities to work on our emotional intelligence and our emotional education. Sometimes we don't have even the possibility of talking to someone about our emotions. How many people how many people they don't have anyone they can express their emotions, and sometimes even saying, you know what, I don't know how I feel, and the other person just waits, um, and is not trying to go fast. And this is really, really a thing that keeps us stuck in this pattern of childhood. So basically, we are still operating most part of the times in this desire, like, I want this, and I want this now. We are blaming a lot other people for what happens to us and what is there for us. And we are very, very immature when it comes to talk about our own emotions. So we tend to, again, all suppress them. That is most part of the times what, the parent role does, or exaggerate them. So when we talked about it, we are already exploding because it's so big that we are like children, making them really bigger than they are. So we also need to remind ourselves that the brain likes repetition. So if you don't question yourself, the brain is going to continue doing the same. It's not by himself, he's not going to challenge, he's not going to change, he's not going to challenge your patterns, he's not going to look for new, neuronal pathways. He's not going to do that by himself. Always remember, and always say this, and I say this to my kids, your brain is always looking to save energy. So it's always looking for the easy way out. Okay, if you already did this, it's going to repeat it. So you need to force, you need to decide, you need to, tell your brain a different story. Okay, so that your brain creates that new patterns. And that's why we always need to refer on this point the importance of reframing, the importance of creating new meanings for what is happening, to go away from, for instance, the blaming. Oh, life is so unfair. Mm, well, who says that life is so unfair? Okay, maybe you need to say, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to think about if I want to keep this, if I want to keep this relationship, if I want to keep this job, if I want to keep, this house, if I want to keep this car, whatever. But you cannot just say, oh, life is unfair. What that will be doing for you? Nothing. Nothing. And that's that little shift. And it's little, but it's big at the same time. It's a little linguistic shift, but it's going to impact so much your perception of the world. Okay, because then it's not things that are happening to you, you are taking the decision. And that is what adulthood is taking the decision. And yes, decisions are hard, because most part of the times we really don't know what is happening after that decision. We can have an idea, we can have kind of a 5 6 possibilities, but guess what? You are still getting the surprise. You really don't know, but still you need to take decisions. And I think this is the most relevant thing at this moment, is that I hear a lot of people just not going for the decision. And when I say, okay, but what are you going to do about it? They go like, oh, I don't know. And they sometimes even ask me, if it was you, what you will be doing? I said, I don't know, because guess what? I'm not you, you're not me. They even try that. They even try that I tell them what will be the best decision. And this is reality. I have a lot of times in coaching people trying that I give them the possible solution or the possible decision. Of course, I never do that. So they gotta be like, "Ugh." But doesn't work like that, because will be always my decision, right? Not your decision, but needs to be yours, because as an adult you need to take the responsibility. Okay, any questions until now, or I'm going too fast or too slow? I don't know. I know that this is a topic that can really trigger. I know that, because it's not, sometimes for me it's also like, oh my god, I'm running away from the decision. I'm covering this with all kind of stuff just because I don't want to take the decision, or I don't want to make the decision. And of course, with the making of that decision, I also don't want sometimes to deal with the possible consequences. And that's my little child, saying, I don't know what to do with this. But we can go there. It's okay. We can go there sometimes, but you cannot be there all the time. Okay. Because then we are losing a lot of possibility. Because being an adult is great, because finally, we can have the life that is for us. That's what an adult does. An adult is going to create all the possibilities that person has to have the life that they desire, that they want, not even a desire, that they want, the life that feels that is for them. And that beauty of adulthood is that we take things in our own hands. And yes, sometimes it's not always pleasant, but is also the realization that is ours. It's that realization that is ours, and we own it. And owning our own life is powerful, right? So let me bring another idea here. That is this embodiment of the true growth. Is like, it cannot only be in our heads, because guess what, most part of the things are not even happening in our heads. I hope are happening in our full system. So that's when we are talking about suppressing emotions, or doing our emotions. I always say suppressing emotions will not make them disappear. Pretending that you are not feeling what you're feeling will not make that disappear. Can be even worse, right? Can be amplified time by time. Can even be worse, can make you sick because it's going to get stuck in your body. So we don't want that. We want to express our emotions. But that's when we gotta get trapped by, but yeah, but I never learned, for instance, how to deal with sadness without, the only way that I know how to do sadness is to run away from the world and cry. I'm like, okay, so that is one possibility, and you can keep it if sometimes feels also good. But we need to learn and get more strategies to be sad that are not about running away from the world and crying. So, for instance, sometimes, can we talk about it? Can you say it out loud? Can you face the sadness in the eyes? Can you allow yourself to ask the question, what this sadness is asking from me? This type of things. But realizing that your emotions are there, and they are your emotions, and can be an act of empowerment when you realize, okay, this emotion is mine. So if you are mine, what do you want to tell me? If you are here right now and you are mine, I'm doing this emotion, what this emotion is telling me, what I want to show to myself, because your emotions is yourself communicating with yourself. Okay, so if you get the awareness of, okay, I'm feeling this emotion, what I'm telling to myself, that instead of coming, with a thought, comes with a feeling or an emotion, what I'm telling to myself, what my body is feeling before even my head can assess it. And so an adult will never suppress their emotions. Being an adult is being able to express your emotions without suppressing them or exaggerate them. Okay, so it's just saying as they are, how they feel. How do you feel them in your body? How they come? What are the symptoms of this emotion? What this emotion creates in your head? What type of thoughts you get when you get this emotion? And then you can communicate this from that place, from the place of, oh, this is how I feel, this is what is happening in my body, and this is what my head is going for. Huh? And sometimes also realize that an adult is also sometimes someone that can stay with their emotions instead of always going, spreading around the emotions that they get. An adult sometimes stays with their emotion until they find out, okay, what this means for me, and what is the decision that I'm going to take upon this emotion or about this meaning. Okay, so an adult is not also someone that is always in need of venting, or always in need, of speaking about whatever they feel. Sometimes it's nice to stay in yourself with their emotion for a while, saying, okay, what this means and what is the decision that I'm going to make upon the meeting that I got. Yeah? So think about this, and maybe you can ask yourself, like, what is the emotion that I have more trouble to stay with? What is the emotion that if I feel it, I immediately need someone to talk about, to spread, and learn how to stay with that emotion for a while, and take and make decisions upon that emotion. Not only the way that you want to feel that emotion, but also the behavior or the behaviors that you want to have upon that emotion. And also, what is the decision that you're going to make from the meaning that that emotion brings to you. Yeah, makes sense what I'm saying? I hope so. I hope it makes a lot of sense what I'm saying. So if you want to step in and to your real adulthood, and if you want to step in this, it's important to upgrade your internal and inner dialogue. Okay, listen to how do you talk to yourself. Are you talking to yourself as a parent that is always like, stupid, I did something bad, oh, you did a mistake, oh, you are not a good person? Or are you speaking as a child, like, oh, this happened again to me, oh my god, again, oh, only these things only happen to me, oh, speak to yourself as an adult. Choose language that is realistic. Choose language that brings you to the point, okay, this is what is happening, this is how I'm feeling, what I'm going to do next. And upgrading the way that you speak to yourself is like the most rewarding thing internally. You are not going to need anymore that people come to you and say, oh, you did it well. You know that you did well. And if someone said, great, but you know that you did well, or you know that you had a mistake, or you know how that feels, and you know what you're going to do next. You are not going to stay on that need of that someone is always validating you for the good and for the bad, okay, or giving you feedback. Okay, you can give me feedback, but I know what I did. We can talk about why I did it and what I will be doing next, but most part of the times, I know what I did. I know what I said. I know how I said it. So that's, huh? So, to be honest, an adult will never need a feedback. Will need sharing. Like, hey, this is what I did. This because I took the decision. Maybe it was not the best decision, but this is where I'm coming from. So how was this for you? It's not feedback. An adult will not need feedback. Huh? Whoops. a little bit of a sharp remark right now, but feedback is a very parenting attitude. And I'm not saying that is not necessary for some people, but will not amplify adulthood, will not, for instance, amplify, self-responsibility, will not amplify ownership, will not amplify, accountability. Feedback will never do that. Then strength your prefrontal cortex. You know, practice, practice this delay of gratification. Practice the waiting before reacting. Practice the idea of what is the decision, what I want to decide, and wait for that decision instead of boom, you know, wait for the decision. Wait, check, oh, sorry, check if this is really what you need right now. Instead, okay, you open Netflix, instead of like, okay, what kind of movie, what kind of series I want to, to hear right now, what type of dialogues will amplify me, what type of thing I'm looking for. Take that decision and then go and sharply and assertively go and do that decision. Hmm? And then use your body as a compass, as getting the sensation of, okay, I'm not going to ignore discomfort. I'm going to check what that discomfort is, and I'm going to, oh, okay, now this is doesn't feel right, or this doesn't feel me, or this doesn't feel exactly what I'm looking for, and connect with that and take again another decision upon it. Okay, don't ignore it, don't let it be, don't let it expand, don't let it grow. Okay, so this is what I would like to bring you today. This, and I know that it's a big topic, and I know that is a trigger content, because most part of the times we are super comfortable in what we are doing. But I'm pretty sure that if everyone that is in the age of reaching this adulthood, or at least you are not still in the age, but you are preparing yourself for that, you are being, triggered also in a good way for that, you are being provocative to create that possibility of decision. I tend to believe that that is when people really feel um, good in their lives, because they are taking the decision, they know what they are doing, they know. And when things sometimes don't go exactly as they wanted, they go like, okay, maybe I didn't do this or this or this, and they get also a little bit more, how do you say, owners. Yeah, I'm not thinking about any other word. Is I own this, and I know what I did. I know the decisions that I made, and I know that this maybe, yeah, I reacted too soon, but it's okay. I can go back and repair, or I can go forward and repair. So it's not naive. It's not luck. It's like I know what I'm doing, and doesn't mean that I'm always doing the right thing, because guess what? That's probably not even possible. But I know how I feel. I know what I'm doing. I know that, okay, this happened. Probably, even if I don't get the full awareness at that moment, I'm like, oh, probably I did something that created this. So let's go back and get, okay, what happened? Oh yeah, okay, I know what I did, and it's taking that responsibility, and it's a nice responsibility. It's not the responsibility of, oh, you are responsible for all the rest of the world. No, you are responsible to taking care of your own emotions, to taking care of your own feelings, to taking care of your own decisions. It's not this responsibility of making sure that you are safe, or making sure that everyone else is safe. No, it's owner of your own decisions. Okay, so emotional intelligence, conscious choices, intentional choice, and embodiment. And if you want to practice this, use your weekend, for instance, that most part of us has a little bit more free style, because maybe you don't need to work. So take your weekend to be the weekend that you take your decisions about what are you going to eat, what are you going to do, and this small, big decisions that can make you feel okay. I had the weekend that I wanted, and with the people that I wanted, and doing what I wanted. So go for it. Go for it and get for yourself that sensation of, oh, okay, I can have a better feeling about all this. Yeah. So thank you for being with me. And I hope, hi, Anita. Thank you for being with me. And I hope that you enjoy your weekend and you take a lot of decisions that make you feel like you are getting into your own life, in your own path. Take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye bye.